The Anniversary Reservation on the evening of September 14, 2023, police in the quiet suburb of Millbrook received a missing persons call from a man named Daniel Reeves. His wife, Claire Reeves, had not come home. Daniel sounded composed on the phone, concerned but measured. He told dispatch that Claire had left work at her usual time but never arrived at the restaurant where they were supposed to celebrate their 12th wedding anniversary. At first glance, nothing about the Reeves household suggested trouble. They lived in a tidy two-story home on a quiet street. No prior domestic calls. No financial distress. Friends described them as private but stable. But within 48 hours, investigators would begin to see the cracks. And by the end of the week, one of Millbrook's most carefully maintained marriages would unravel into something far darker. Claire Reeves was 37 years old, a senior project manager at a regional marketing firm. Organized, reliable, predictable. Daniel, 40, worked in commercial insurance. Methodical, soft-spoken, the kind of man neighbors trusted to collect their mail when they traveled. According to Daniel's initial statement, the day of the disappearance had been normal. Claire left for work at 8:15 that morning. They exchanged a brief text around noon. And at 5:32 p.m. security footage from Claire's office building showed her walking calmly to her car in the parking garage. After that, nothing. Her phone went silent at 5:41. Her car never arrived at the Anniversary restaurant. And Claire Reeves was never seen alive again. In the early days of the investigation, detectives focused on the most common scenarios. Voluntary disappearance, medical emergency, random crime of opportunity. But Daniel's behavior, while cooperative, began to register as slightly off. Not overtly suspicious, just controlled. Too controlled. Detective Hannah Cole would later note in her report that Daniel never once asked if there had been activity on Claire's credit cards. Never pressed for updates about search efforts. Never displayed the frantic uncertainty most spouses showed in the first 72 hours. Instead, he waited, quietly, patiently, as if he already understood the timeline. The first real break came from Claire's coworker. During a routine canvass, one colleague hesitated before speaking to investigators. She explained that over the past 3 months, Claire had seemed distracted, protective of her phone, occasionally stepping outside to take calls she described only as personal. Detectives obtained Claire's phone records. What they found shifted the direction of the case immediately. For nearly 11 weeks, Claire had been in frequent contact with a number registered to a man named Ryan Mercer. The messages, once recovered from cloud backups, were unmistakably intimate. Plans, confessions, promises about a future neither of them had yet acted on. Claire Reeves had been having an affair. When confronted with this information, Daniel's reaction was almost textbook. Surprise. Then hurt. Then quiet disbelief. He admitted he had sensed some distance recently but claimed he had no knowledge of the affair. For a moment, investigators considered the possibility that Daniel truly had been blindsided. Until the security footage surfaced. A traffic camera located less than a mile from Claire's office captured her vehicle at 5:39 p.m. turning not toward the restaurant but toward the residential side streets leading back toward the Reeves neighborhood. At first, this seemed odd but explainable. Maybe she forgot something at home. Maybe she changed plans. But the timestamp triggered a deeper review of neighborhood cameras. And that is when detectives saw Daniel's car leaving the Reeves driveway at 5:28 p.m. 4 minutes before Claire exited her office building. When questioned again, Daniel calmly explained he had gone out briefly to pick up a bottle of wine for their dinner. But investigators checked. No nearby store cameras captured his vehicle. No purchase appeared on any of his cards. And slowly, methodically, the timeline began to collapse. The true turning point came from inside the Reeves home. Forensic technicians conducting a secondary sweep noticed faint chemical traces in the garage, partially cleaned but still detectable under luminol. Further testing confirmed the presence of blood. Claire's blood. Under mounting evidence, Daniel's composure finally began to fracture. Cell tower data placed his phone near Claire's office shortly before she left work. License plate readers showed his vehicle traveling the same side streets Claire had taken. And investigators uncovered one final detail that sealed the case. 3 days before Claire disappeared,